You already know what it is. G Ready here, back with another one, man. We got Akademiks and Sneako going at it again. If you guys missed it, man, a few streams back, Sneako and Akademiks had a debate over, you already know, man, Chud the Builder, people. The racist who was going around town calling people the hard ER. And Sneako saying, you know, some of the things that he's doing is not so bad. However, he needs Chud the Builder to stop. Well, he didn't say not so bad. He said some of his rhetoric is pretty funny, and he needs Chud the Builder to stop this because it's going to get him hurt. That debate was quite interesting. Him and Akademiks was going at it. Today, we got another one with Akademiks and Sneako, man. Without further ado, man, let's play 2K Theater Mode and let's react to what Akademiks and Sneako had to say about this incident right here. Let's go.
You're celebrating, you're saying it's your finest work. Somebody got shot. I was trying to prevent that from happening. Saying he should stop streaming was to prevent violence. You're celebrating, you're saying he got locked up. Somebody got shot. I know.
Brother, you're a Muslim?
That is stupid.
Brother, you're a Muslim?
Look.
Are you a Muslim?
You know this.
Okay. All right, hold on.
Are you Christian?
Okay. Do you believe in martyrs?
Of course.
Okay. Chud had to go. We got him out of here. He won't be back for a while. Okay, so you can start writing some letters to him.
Are you Christian?
Well, I would identify as him, yes.
Okay.
Well, so then we should be martyrs for what we believe in, for our faith, for God.
Yo.
Being martyrs over a slur is not what you.
Listen, shout out to the late Malcolm X. Any means possible. We got Chud the Builder out the paint.
That boy Chud.
We tricked him off the streets. By the way, these tactics have been done to black people by white people for a long time. You know, he was trying to trick somebody into a self-defense death case that he could go try to be like one of these like
Let me check the
what's that guy named George Zimmerman type of guys.
So people should martyr themselves. People should martyr the rage baiter.
But we support the young man who clearly said he was. By the way, this is Chud's don't work.
You're not answering so you want people to be martyrs over.
Yes, somebody had to hit that guy. Somebody had to hit that guy. Somebody had to stand up for the race. And I do want to say that brother who did it.
All right. We good. We locked in.
Did we get him out of the paint or not? Did we trick him off the streets? Yes or no?
You didn't stop. You didn't stop racism.
No.
Rage baiter.
I never said we're gonna stop racism. I said he was a bad actor that was.
We should do. We should aim to stop racism, not stop one guy who's rage baiting.
Hey, listen. We're just like the U.S. You know how the U.S. went over to Iran and they killed their leader? Sometimes you got to kill the leader. You got to get the leader out of here. So he was the leader in starting some type of
war. They're winning the war right now. They thought it was over by killing the leader. That's the same mistake the U.S. made. All right. It would be over by getting rid of.
Okay, well we're dealing with it. We're dealing with racism. We're combating racism every single day. Chud the Builder was one of the biggest.
Chud the Builder shot a black dude, and I believe the bullet ricocheted and grazed him. So he's also in the hospital as well. That's what Ak is referring to.
I'm not gonna give you credit. I'm not gonna. I don't think you're encouraging people to martyr themselves.
No. I'm talking about Chud the Builder. Hold on. Let me use his words. Hold on now. Wait.
And a guy got shot.
Wait. Hold on.
That's not good.
Okay. So
don't celebrate that.
So let me tell you how I tricked him off the streets because you're trying to jump past this. He improperly claimed, which you also backed up, which I think you helped trick him off the streets too. Thank you, Sneako. You're just like me.
No, I told him to stop streaming.
No. You're one of those people who said that his interactions fell within self-defense. I wonder how he thinks about that now while he's sitting in county jail. No, it doesn't. If somebody slaps you, you can't shoot him. Okay. It doesn't work like that. So you actually said that's how it works. He did that, and he's now sitting in jail.
I didn't say that. I'm not saying you should shoot people if they punch you. I'm saying in a lot of states, if you feel for your
crazy man, Chud is in jail, people. That's crazy.
In Texas, I'm not saying this should happen. And
people like you gas them up, and me too.
You're allowed. I didn't gas them up. Are you kidding me?
Yo, he'd be free right now if you ain't gas him up. He was tweeting out stuff like the season finale's leaving a chimp's brain on the pavement.
The guy that got shot wouldn't have been shot if you didn't gas him up. if you didn't encourage martyrdom over a rage baiter saying a word, that guy wouldn't be in the hospital. He might die.
Oh, listen. You're trying to make it like, the victim? Chud the Builder is out of here. We're focused on Chud the Builder. My boy is going to be all right, but Chud the Builder, somebody had to get him out of here.
Are you sure? Do you know what his condition is? Have you visited him in the hospital, or are you just going to celebrate on the street?
We're celebrating Chud the Builder being in motherfucking jail where he belongs. He's a low. Do you agree with me? He's a low-level gun-wielding thug that was inciting violence, and it finally met him at the place where he clearly overacted based on what we heard.
What he's doing is wrong, and
so he's a violent thug, right?
Aggravating people. Sure, yeah.
Okay, all right. So where do violent thugs belong? Where do violent thugs belong?
They shouldn't be on the streets doing what they're doing.
Thank you. So you agree with me? We tricked him off the streets. He's in his natural habitat. He could chimp out in general population. Perfect.
Yeah, they shouldn't be aggravating people like that. But he got charged with attempted murder. You're ignoring completely yourself. Oh, look. First off, no racism was solved. Do you think that now racism has died down in America? It's been amplified because of this. Second, he's charged with attempted murder. That means there's a victim. That means there's somebody who was shot. This is not a good thing. Nothing was changed.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie to you.
This guy might die.
Yo, put it like this. Do you agree that quote unquote Palestine is a peaceful nation, or are there a war-filled nation? What do you think?
They're majority peaceful people.
Okay. Do you believe there's strategies to try to come to a place of peace by attacking people or having war? Yes, I'm gonna keep comparing it to that, brother. Like, I know you think there's nothing special about them over there, brother. Like, nobody cares except you and like the rest of y'all little Palestine. What I'm saying is that when
people hear this, ongoing genocide compared to hearing a word. I understand why this is a false equivalency and why we shouldn't put them in the same category.
Okay, you just misrepresented what I just said. I literally just said
hearing a slur to genocide.
I literally just said that.
Because
violence happened at this moment, don't mean we're getting to a better place. The better place is that Chud the Builder, his antagonistic ways, he was growing in followers that were all racist people that were trying to be emboldened by his radicalness, thinking that there's no consequences. When we get him out the paint quick, the rest of the radical this doesn't work. That's the point. So even in nations that you think are peaceful, sometimes they gotta go to war real quick.
So good. It's our first game. But that boy Chud, man.
Out of here.
That boy Chud in jail right now. Damn, that's crazy.
Today and smell the roses and say, today feels like a good day. Iceman's coming out. Chud the Builder is about to do 20. This is a good day. Good day. We tricked him off the streets.
I woke up thinking now people think they should martyr themselves over a rage bait streamer, and I'm realizing that racism definitely amplified because of this. You're saying he's growing in followers. What do you think they're doing now? You think these followers are suddenly no longer racist? They're there.
Well, at least we have their leader in jail. We have their leader in jail. We like that. Their leader should stay in jail because he's a violent thug, and he was chimping out outside of a courthouse. Was he chimping out or not?
Yeah, he was chimping out, of course.
Okay, all right. So we got him out of here. You should celebrate just like me. And you're right. We should celebrate him being locked up, and then we should start caring about the victim. So how about you say, because you say words don't have meaning. Let's say fuck Chud, and let's help the victim.
I don't say words don't have meaning. I said you should not give power to words. You shouldn't think that you need to act in a violent response to hearing one single word. That one word, giving it that much power, is giving away your power. It's giving away your energy. You're letting people be able to control you.
Well, let's skip this, people.
Are you making the same argument that you literally lost the debate with last time, brother?
I didn't lose the debate. It's a simple question that you avoided.
Okay.
Is this a word that we should be violent over, this single word? The N-word.
It's not about me saying you should be violent about it. It's me acknowledging that there is historical meaning to it, and it would cause some people to be violent. Let me ask you a question. If I burn,
but you didn't answer it. Should people act? Because you're saying
I personally would not. Hold on. Stop it. No. I can't say whether people should or not. I'm telling you the deep hurt it actually embodies, and it won't change. And the only thing I could compare it to that you could understand is that let me ask you a question. If I burned your holy book, would you do something to me?
People do.
No. Would you do something? If I burned it in your face, would you do something?
I'm answering right now.
What would you do?
You want to hear?
Yeah.
There's a guy who's identical to Chud the Builder for Muslims.
Who?
His name is Jake Lang. Let me answer the question. Okay, hold on. His name is Jake Lang. He pretends to be a white supremacist. He's really an Israel for a Zionist Jew. Okay. He pretends to be Christian on all this. He's seen kissing the wall. He just burned the Quran. Okay. He aggravates people outside the mosque. He tries to get a reaction. He came to New York City and sliced open a pig outside of Zohar Mamdani's office. You know what I tell people to do? Ignore him. Don't give this attention. Don't martyr yourself for a guy who's clearly trying to get a reaction. If somebody is out on the streets trying to get a rise out of you, what you can do is take the power and ignore them.
Okay.
Don't give them what they want. They're looking for them.
Let me try to understand this. So
Sneako is saying don't give them what they want.
Consistent, because your advice to Muslims who would be offended is just words. He's just burning a book or whatever. I don't know what he's exactly doing.
These are paid agitators. These are people that are specifically there to try to provoke. You know what his objective is?
No, wait, hold on. Wait, we're not talking about the objective. Hold on, because that's not what you said about Chud. We're going off the same metric. You didn't say, oh, you know what Chud's objective is. You said black people should divorce themselves of hurt when it comes to that word.
You idiot.
Hold on. Why don't you say Muslims should... Why don't you say that Muslims should divorce themselves of hurt or any type of pain when it comes to those symbols if they're burnt or somehow disrespected? Why don't you say that?
Because I just did. I'm saying we should ignore paid agitators because you know what he's looking for? It's just like Chud the Builder.
No, you didn't say that. You didn't say that with black people. You said black people should get over slavery. Brother, I remember what you said.
You said black people should get them. We should let go of hurt.
Okay. So why don't you say to the Muslims they should let go of these symbols and divorce themselves of the meaning? Why not?
I just said to ignore the guy who's doing the same.
No.
Let me make this analogy. You're not understanding.
You said we should let go of the word. Why don't you say they should let go of the symbols? That's a one-to-one. You're now talking about
let go of the symbols. Look, people who are trying to get a reaction out of you by using hurtful symbols, you should ignore. That is the best outcome. And let me make this analogy.
Go ahead.
This guy, you know what he's looking for? This guy, Jake Lang, he's a Jew, pretending to be a white supremacist. He wants somebody to act violently so that he can then point at Muslims and say, these are violent terrorists. They don't belong in America. I've been proven right. We don't have free speech. You know how you win? You ignore them. The same thing goes for Chud the Builder. Do you know what his objective is and what all these white racists are thinking? They're thinking black people are violent. We can't coexist. We can't have unity. So if you act violently over this word, I am proven right. These people, and you're saying that we got rid of them. No, these white racists who are following Chud the Builder, they're now thinking, oh, look, black people really are violent. I can't use
Dang, I messed that up.
Have free speech. You are playing into their hand. When you say that you should martyr yourself over a word, you are now proving these white racists correct and following their agenda to make them think that they're right, that black people are violent.
Sneako, is interesting how you're changing your position, but I don't think you thought this all the way through because
no, that's the same
listen,
position.
I drink a lot, but my memory must be.
That's why you didn't hear it because you were drinking.
No, because I'm going to recall something you exactly said. And I'm trying to. You see, your problem here is this religion stuff. I don't even think you think it. I think all the Muslim niggas that's in your comments.
Right. You just said you think I'm a grifter, right? I heard you say that.
You know what I'm saying? Your audience is full with people that I think you have to say things to represent what they think. So that's why anytime
I have majority Christian audience, I don't even have majority Muslim audience.
Wait, hear what I'm saying? Anytime you say something to me, I flip it on a one-to-one level to have to do with religion, and I watch you just. You squirm because you can't. Let me remind you what you said last time. I'm gonna do it one more time. I'm gonna do it one more time. What you said to me, right? And you said to the stream, your stream and mine. You said you didn't agree with what Chud the Builder did, but you did find it amusing. Why don't you find it amusing?
No.
Hold on. Yes, you did.
No, I did not say that. You're getting your mischaracterization.
What?
I said there was some.
Somebody give me the clip.
And I brought it in exactly. In the stream.
You said when he's saying people are chimping out and
he did not say that. You can play the clip. What I said was funny. There was one moment where a guy's making fun of his shoes and then he looks at the other guy and he has an ankle monitor. Stuff like that's objectively funny. Am I encouraging it? No. But that instance was funny. Am I saying that calling people the hard R is funny? No, it's mean. It's mean-spirited.
Okay.
So I don't like that. I don't want to see that.
And I'll tell you where...
That, maybe because you were off the handle or something.
No, I'll tell you what that's tantamount to me. That's like you saying, oh, no, the blackface is funny. So let me ask you a question. Have you never seen anything funny when... What's the guy named Jake, whatever? When he's, like, doing all those stuff that's offending Muslims? None of that's funny? He don't got no jokes.
It's funny in a stupid way, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when he's let me answer.
Perfect.
When he's there with a pig and he's screaming in public, "White Christians this," and it's like, yeah, this is funny. This is stupid. This is unnecessary. It's goofy.
Okay,
Things can be funny. Because you find something funny doesn't mean you endorse it.
So during the act of disrespecting
in a dark way.
So during the act of disrespecting the religion of Islam, there is some funniness to it. Okay, I like that. It's a little bit of comedy.
You know,
a little bit of comedy. I like that.
You know what? You know why it's funny? Because he thinks that Muslims treat pigs like kryptonite. He's holding a pig like, oh my God, look, I have a pig. Muslims can't eat pork, even though Jesus didn't eat pork. It's funny that this guy thinks that we're going to shrivel up in front of a pig. These agitators can be funny.
Okay. I get the act, but generally, while disrespecting,
what should we do?
Muslims, it is or it can come off humorous. I'm just trying to get that to make sure you're keeping it the same way. So there's a way where you could try to offend Muslims but be hilarious, right?
And this is why you lose in these debates, because you're trying to say like, oh, because you think something is amusing or funny, you're endorsing it. Absolutely not. Things can be objectively funny, separating your beliefs from it. Things can be funny in a vacuum. Like a guy, if
I'm with you, I'm just trying to figure out because. So I know about I know about black people stuff. I don't know what's going on with like Islam. So that's what I'm saying.
You know
how is a funny way? How's a funny way? How's a funny way?
You understand that Muslims are like Islam is not a race, and there's so many black Muslims. Okay. The first person who did the call to prayer, Bilal, brother, and black.
Hold on, brother. Listen, this is a religious argument I'm having with you. Don't try to bring race into that. I'm not treating it as a race.
So
okay?
If you want to have a religious argument, are you Christian?
Well, I don't identify as a devout Christian, but yes, I would say my beliefs.
So you're Christian.
Oh, wait, are you just switching? Are you trying to switch the argument again? Listen,
no, I'm not.
If
you want, no, I'm not. I'm following your. If you want to have a religious conversation, I want to make sure we're on the same.
Oh, okay.
You're a Christian.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
So you're a Christian.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So the point what I was trying to say is that I've yet to see many people who identify as Muslims ever say it is funny for their religion to get joked at. Actually, they're usually down to crash out over it. So I'm glad Sneako is the first one to say, yeah, if you dissing Allah and all them niggas, like there's kind of that you could do it in a way where there could be like, all right, that's funny. Thank you.
No, I just said it.
Now I know you keeping it fair. I thought you only thought it was funny when people were being racist.
Are you not hearing what I'm saying? I thought you said you were sober right now. I said this guy thinking that pigs are kryptonite is funny because it's stupid. This guy posing as a white supremacist when he is a Jewish Zionist is funny. It's stupid. Things can be humorous. It doesn't mean you're encouraging it. I'm not going to act like I don't find this stuff. If I describe the situation to you, if I say this, like, take your emotions away from the conversation. If I say that...
Another sauce than talk.
We got commercials. Let's skip this.
I was like, I want to watch that. And you agree. You've covered it extensively. You've watched this stuff. It's objectively entertaining if you're giving it attention. But we shouldn't. We have to strive to ignore people like that, even if it might be entertaining. People saying slurs in this stuff, it's provocative. Doesn't mean it's good. But when you see a car crash, you look at it. When you see the residue, when you see a building, you look. Does that mean you're endorsing it? No. It means it's entertaining.
Okay.
Doesn't mean that you think...
You know what, Sneako? See, this is why I love debating intellectual like you, right? You know what? You've made some points. I'll actually even pivot. You know, let's not keep talking in circles. All right, perfect. So, what's the guy's name you said that disrespects Muslim all the time? What's his name? We gotta give him some shit. Jake Lang.
Probably a fake name.
Okay. Yeah. In the same light of how you basically denounced both of them. But you know the reason I called you, right? You said that you talked to Chud and you say, hey, Chud, maybe you should stay indoors. And you didn't tell him what to do, but you're like, you should stay indoors for a little while. Would you give the advice to Jake, whatever, and say, hey, keep dissing the Muslims and Islam all you want, but just just like don't do it outside with the pig. Just do it.
You know why I didn't reach out to him? It's because I knew he wouldn't be respected. Actually, I checked my DMs with that guy Jake Lang, and he called me a hard R. He called me a hard R. So this is not a guy who's going to be receptive. I saw what Chud the Builder's doing, and I can see, and I'm like, I think that I can get through to this guy. And I told him specifically, you want me to tell you? I said, you should do desktop streams. You should talk about your life. You should talk about what you believe in, why you feel like you need to do this. You shouldn't be out antagonizing people. This is not going to end well. This is going to incite violence. You can get hurt. Someone else is going to get hurt. It's not good. Go inside and talk about. And I think when people sit there and they talk about their philosophy, then they're going to steer away from things that could be harmful. I was trying to push people away from attempted murder. From that guy, you're saying he's a martyr. I don't want to see that happen.
Hey, so I want to challenge you, free speech advocates, and you don't come out and state that you unequivocally are, but based on the things you said, it feels like you align with it. So let me just ask you this question, and we're gonna kind of like, again, we don't know all the details yet, but we know enough. And sorry, Chad, I haven't played these clips yet, but we'll kind of summarize. So this guy comes out of court. I would guess for maybe he just had another case, and he walks out of a courthouse, right? I think it's a Montgomery courthouse, and he sees someone that he himself admits he approaches. The person doesn't approach him. There's no one targeting him. He approaches the guy, tries to have a conversation. He says something. The guy notices him, and according to his own words, the guy says to him, hey, if you're going to start going with this chimping out stuff, I have PTSD. Now, you know what PTSD is, sir?
We're all aware.
Okay. So if someone tells you they have a condition, a mental condition, and you continue to either egg or incite, because here's the problem with a lot of these free speech advocates. They act like incitement.
You haven't asked my position. You haven't asked my
position.
No.
I know. There's a question. There's a question. Let me just stick to the question. So, if he then continues, and supposedly the last thing said before was, wait, are you going to go chimp out on me? And apparently the guy does attack him. How do you view that situation when someone who's clearly telling you verbally that they're suffering from mental health issues, right? They're saying that there are triggers that might cause me, not racial shit, mental triggers that might cause me to act out. And you still do it. What do you call that? You call that free speech, sir? Or do you call that? Look, just answer the question.
That's harmful. I don't want people to do that. But again, like you were saying, somebody had to go down. I think this is a little bit of cope and saying, look, he had mental health.
Damn, bro.
He should get martyred. You were saying somebody had to do it.
Stick to the point. Stick to the point.
You still wanted somebody to do
this. Wait, Sneako. We're talking about the incident. We could talk about afterwards. What do you think I felt should happen? But let's talk about the incident. I want you to analyze the incident, because you're one of the people who have been saying what he's doing, or these situations normally, the ones that we've seen on camera, fits under self-defense. What I just broke down to you, right? Do you believe that is self-defense? A guy you approach, you have a conversation with, he notices you, he says, hey, I don't start this chimping out stuff. I'm suffering from a thing that I could crash out. It's triggering. He continues, and the guy then attacks him. What do you? Because you seem super reasonable. You like peace and
So let's look.
Dandelions.
I believe in obeying the law of the land. If that's against free speech, if that's inciting violence, then it shouldn't happen. If that does not fall within our free speech rights, then it shouldn't happen. If it does, then it does.
Wait.
It was Montgomery.
Just repeat again.
I believe in obeying the law of the land.
Okay.
So if this violates free speech, if you're not supposed to provoke people intentionally directly to their face like this, I think in New Hampshire there's a law where it says there's fighting words if you insult somebody directly.
Yes.
Passed after 1946. If that does not fall within free speech, if that's one of those examples, then no, it doesn't fall under free speech, and you shouldn't do it. Regardless, you shouldn't do it. Also, I'm not a free. Yeah, let me answer on free speech. That's my answer to that. If that does not follow the law right there, if that's incitement, shouldn't happen. Second, I'm not a free speech absolutist. I believe that there's too much censorship. I think they did too much during COVID. But I don't want to see blasphemy. I don't think people should legally be allowed to insult God. Are they allowed to in America? Absolutely. Yeah, it's all over hip-hop. You call me a grifter, but one of the number one things in hip-hop that's pushed is gang violence and is Satanism.
I'm cold. We got to lock in.
A lot of people think porn is part of free speech and say it's freedom of expression. I don't think it should be allowed. in my ideal society, in the society that I want, you can't say disrespectful things that are sacred. You can't talk about God that way. You can't talk about our prophets that way. Can you say this in America? Yeah. So there's free speech in America.
In your ideal,
we have to obey the law of the land.
In your ideal world where you can't talk about God and certain things that's sacred in a certain way, could you talk about black people in a certain way?
Black people, skin is not sacred. God created us, and we are God's creation. But what's sacred?
You're being obtuse now. You know I don't literally mean the color of the skin, but we're talking about the plight of people, right? So, for example, whether we're talking about the
plight, which one?
Well,
skin or plight?
Well, they're interconnected, right? Because people
you just said exactly what I disagree with.
People who are usually heavily melanated, usually when you go down their lineage, is connected to some type of oppression. Say again?
Yeah, like me. Talk about saying my dad's from Haiti.
I hate to actually put this down, Sneako. I think the reason why you think the way you are is because you look in the mirror and you don't instantly identify with a group. You're a member of multiple groups, and you've probably been treated as never one particular thing. So it's easy for you.
I don't identify. I don't see my brothers based off of somebody who looks like me. But I have brothers in Islam. Muslims are having the same belief system. But seeing someone blindly as your ally and as your
ethnicity
brother and have the same skin complexion, I think is wrong. Second,
wait, hold on. Say that again. We can't just jump past it. Say that one more time.
People are not your brothers and not your allies blindly just because you look alike. It's what you believe. That's what's more
not
important.
True.
It's about worse.
Not true.
It's
not true.
Okay, so then what about black murderers? Hold
on. I'll give you an example. And
is King Von your brother?
I'll give you an example, and you try to counter my example. I'm not like King Von. I'm not a gangster. But listen, let me tell you this. I've always said the reason why I have no desire to go to Europe and any other country like, on that side of the world, I was born in Jamaica. It's 90% black. This is the first country I've ever lived in where you walk around and we're the minority. I see what it does to the mentality of people that look like us. I see how people that look like me get treated. I have to understand and embody the same type of, fear or, understanding of when you're in a country that has this history. Remember, I was born in Jamaica, but I have to understand that when people see me, they look at me just like they look at Kevin Hart, look like they look at Bobby Shmurda and everybody else black. You have to understand it. Okay? So that's the difference between just saying that, oh, no, not...
Very interesting. Right before this, you said skin and plight go hand in hand.
I said they're interconnected. Interconnected.
Yeah, that's the problem right there. I want everyone to... You said exactly...
Are you about to do one of those should thing again? You about to do one of those like Gandhi, like, oh, no, everybody should let go of the pain? Come on, brother.
No. But you are defining black people.
What was that, Gandhi? You try to be on your Gandhi stuff again?
Brothers and people who are like
current living conditions of blacks and most
Let's go, man. Pass the ball.
Is defined by pain. What do you mean? Like again?
Okay. Well, again. So I like that. Sure, it's defined by pain.
And don't hit me with this bootstrap theory because I also believe in that. But if you are going to be just dense and act like, okay, Jim Crow and all these things haven't affected what...
That's a perpetual victim consciousness. Defining yourself based off of trauma, off of oppression, it gives away power. You are living in a victim mentality, and that doesn't give you power.
All right.
I want people to be empowered. I want people to move forward. I want the best.
All right. Okay, and when you make stupid arguments like that...
No, that's a bad shit.
How is that a stupid argument?
I'm going to explain to you. Anytime you say stupid shit like that, I love to throw it over to what I call your people, because I can tell you care about it. So basically, let me ask you a question. So basically, Palestinians should not be defined by this genocide, correct?
Do you know how many...
Sir, it's a yes or no. Sir, yes or no. You say that black people should not be defined by their hurt, pain, they went through. So these Palestinians should not be defined at any point by the genocide they're experiencing. It should be a one-to-one, right?
No, Palestinian people have a rich history, rich culture. To define them based off of genocide is terrible. I don't want to see that. I don't want that to be their history.
So say that. I want you to say it because you just said it to black people.
I just did.
No. Say Palestinians, you guys should not be trying to be defined by what you're currently experiencing. Just say that. That's what you're out of your mouth.
Yeah, that's a great point. I love it. I'll say it 10 more times. People should not define themselves based off of atrocity. People are so much more than their pain. People are so much better than that.
So wait. So you do believe that the conditions that Palestinians have lived in now and in the future, it will not be defined based on the genocide they're experiencing now? I just want to get a yes on this. Go ahead.
They should not define themselves based off of pain. It's so much more. Having this victim thing, it's so. I feel when I meet a Palestinian and they say that their families are immediately like I think, oh, that's so bad. Oh, free Palestine. Imagine being.
So basically, when they talk to you, like, man, let that victim shit go, man. Like, yo, we cool it all.
I can see. Okay, let me make a few points. I can speak to them and I can see, man, I can tell that they're tired of being defined by this. Everyone going up, imagine saying, hey, I'm Palestinian. Oh, I'm so sorry. What do you mean I'm sorry? My people are great. My people are good. My people are not defined by this. Do you think people, they want to hear this all day? Oh my God, it's so horrible. That's the worst way to live. Second, you are ignoring the fact that there are so many Christian Palestinians. There are so many churches over there that are getting bombed. You said earlier that you're Christian. Are you a Christian first or are you black first?
I care about what's in my vicinity first, and I've never been there. I care about, there's some senseless deaths that happened the other week in Jamaica. I care about that way more than what's going on in Palestine. I've never been there. I don't know why.
I answered all your questions. You can't answer.
No, I'm answering that. Listen, whatever you're gonna say with that, on the things I care about, black people is way up there. Palestinians is way down here.
That's not what I asked. That's not what I asked. Okay, because you said your people.
Yeah.
You're saying my people are the blacks. My people are Jamaican. My people look like me. I'm saying my people are ones that believe in the same thing. Around the world, the most populated Muslim country, you keep thinking that's an Arab religion, most populated Muslim country is Indonesia. They look like me. Across the world, you have Bosnia, white people, 95% white. These are my brothers and my sisters.
I hear you.
Around the world, my people are ones that believe in the same things, that want to make it to heaven, that want the best for the world. You're saying you're defined by your skin color, not your faith. No. You're saying you're Christian, but it's not even at the top of the totem pole.
Yeah, because
you're black first.
Okay. Hear what I'm saying. Hear what I'm saying.
The final point is, if you're black first above Christian, then you worship your skin color.
That's a charge.
Your number one priority is part of your worship. And if this is what you worship, I say that's wrong.
Part 2, y'all. Akademiks and Sneako.
Brother, you just did a bunch of non-sequiturs, and I see why have you won a debate, Sneako? We got to figure out, like, this is...
Now you're running.
No. I'm going to answer you directly. I never said what I worship. You said, what do I identify as more, right?
You said you're Christian. Christian's your religion. Your religion is what you worship.
Yeah, well, but it's not about, do I worship skin color versus religion? Because they're not mutually exclusive, right?
No, I'm saying that because your number one priority is by extension what you worship. You said your number one priority is black.
No. Yeah, Sneako, I'm going to make listen, I got to talk to your chat because I don't know if they've been dealing with this like for like years. I'm going to make a very simple,
it's a simple question.
I'm going to make a simple analogy. Right? If you had lived in Flint, Michigan, back when they had a water crisis, at top of your priority, water is probably going to be over everything else and issues you care for. It is within proximity the thing that matters the most to you because it has the most direct effect.
Yeah, and white
people hold on, brother. Hold on. You just said a bunch of nonsense. Hold on. And I'm saying that while I do identify as Christian, okay, and I am black, right? In my vicinity, where I'm at, I'm not hearing Trump say, "Oh, God is telling us to go bomb this." They're doing what a country does.
They are saying that. They are saying that. That is the rhetoric.
Brother. Okay. Well, I'm telling you that it's not looking like a King James version of the Bible war. Okay, and most decisions aren't when I'm looking at things like that. What it does affect me. So I'm trying to say Christianity. That's not what's affected me, my family, and my immediate people. The thing that's, brother,
force that.
What I'm saying is that if you live in a place where water isn't clean, you care about water the most. What I'm saying
what about the white people? What about the white people?
All right, could I make my point? I'm saying that where I live, there's not much that is, this is a religious blah blah blah. It's more of, hey, listen, I see persecution not in terms of religion here. I see persecution more in terms of race. So of course, that is more important to me.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. That is what's in your vicinity if you focus and tell people to get martyred based off of stupid things like a rage baiter. If you are only seeing the
I was trying to get out of bad apple and tripped him off the streets.
Yeah, well, if you are only seeing
one of my proudest moments.
Portion if you're only seeing a
somebody got to put that on my Wikipedia page. I tricked Chud the Builder off the streets 24 hours. That's a record.
You got somebody murdered over work. If you are
He's still
only
alive.
seeing the small picture and not seeing what's bigger, then yes, it might seem like, oh, my people this. You're ignoring one, that there are white people in Flint, Michigan. It's not specifically a black issue. And two, are you conceding?
Sneako look like he's really trying to make his points. This back and forth encounter with him and Akademiks, man.
The Flint point, the Flint point was.
I thought it was.
No, the Flint point is depending on where you are. Like, for example, the reason why I said what I said about Palestine, I do care about people getting killed. But
follow my boy.
Damn Palestine, nor no Israel. I ain't been there, and I don't want to go there. So, you know what I gotta deal with?
It doesn't matter if you know them.
Yeah.
Humanity.
Hold on, but we all rank things of importance to us, right? If you live in Chicago, and there's 500 people getting killed, you think you're gonna be like, no, forget the 500 people here getting killed. What's going on in Palestine? No, you're gonna care about where you're at. What I'm saying is that I'm in America. Before I care, listen, I care about American issues before I get to some Palestine. That shit is like another world away, man. Let them niggas do what they gotta do.
And this is the problem of only seeing the curated media image, because freeing.
There's genocides happening in Africa that I care about more than Palestine. I ain't gonna lie.
You just said, sure, what's happening in Sudan is horrible, but they're only looking at it from a very narrow perspective and ignoring the greater issue. If you care about America, then Palestine being free, Israeli occupation and their stronghold on.
Brother, you're trying to do politics.
That changes.
Okay, so
I'm not. But you brought it up. Don't try to keep nonsense.
Okay,
Don't keep running away from this.
I'll let you go.
You are saying that you don't care about Palestine or care about America, but freeing Palestine also frees America, because the genocide.
Don't let your vacation rental stand. It's cool.
Let's skip this.
Get seen, get booked on Booking.com.
Money from us.
Okay.
So yes, I only see this. So this is only what I care about.
All right,
Be smarter than that. Be bigger than that. Don't let this stupid little narrow view of the media define what you believe and what you think.
Brother, well, I won't say I speak for the community I come from, but I guarantee if you did a poll of most people who look like me, who act like me, who indulge in the same type of things, and that I would say is community, we're not going to call race, but community that would be like me, if they had the option of sending $30 billion over to Israel or even to Palestine, either one of them niggas, or we could put it in our inner cities here to help people that look like us, I think they'll pick that option. We don't give two fucks about
reparations.
No, not necessarily reparations. Not necessarily. What I'm saying is that we invested in other countries we ain't living. I think most people would just want to invest here. I ain't gonna lie.
And my point is, we spend our military budget, like 70% of our budget goes to fund these wars. Israel takes most of the money. Freeing Palestine is freeing America. It is allocating more money to help out people domestically. It is prioritizing the gang violence and prioritizing the hoods here. If we take the money away from these foreign wars that you don't care about because you don't see it, then help people right here. See the bigger picture. And second, you keep running from this one. Are you black first or are you Christian first, Akademiks?
Yo, Sneako, it's like I've answered
all your questions.
No, I've answered the question. Give an analogy to help you understand the question. You're so confused. I literally say, in the things and the matters that concern me, where I live, I'm 100% black first. 100%. Yes. And when issues come down, if it's going to affect people that look like me, and it's going to affect me personally, I'm me first. You know, they're supposed to be America first. I'm me first.
So you're not really against racism. You're worshiping your skin color. You are embodying the same things that the racist white supremacists believe.
Hold on.
They think that their skin color comes before their faith.
Which part of saying that I value me and my community is a racist thing? How do you get to that conclusion, sir?
Because you prioritize it over your faith.
What's the definition of racism? What's the definition of racism?
Discrimination of a race.
How am I discriminating by saying I prioritize things that has to do with me?
You care more about your own skin color than humanity. You care more about your skin color than God.
How's that racist, though?
I didn't just look at the comments. Man, this guy's like tweeting.
You can't answer, so you're open to the chat.
It's a discussion.
Your number one priority is your skin color.
If you care about yourself more than others, how's that racist?
Sneako.
I don't know.
What you worship.
I feel like I'm talking to a child because I have to like give you these analogies that you can understand very basic things. No. I'm serious. It's like saying, imagine I say I'm a narcissist, right? Which means I'm self-obsessed. That doesn't mean I hate everybody else. That's a stupid point you're trying to say. You're saying by me caring about things to do with me and people like me means I hate other people. Sneako, what's wrong with you, brother?
I said it's your number one priority, is it not? You conceded that.
None of that said I'm anti-white people.
Come on, bro, lock in.
None of that. It says I prioritize things for me that could help me and help
pass
people
me the ball.
What's the problem?
Right. People like you, and the priority that should be first, the number one thing on your list should be your faith. It should be Jesus. It should be Christianity. It shouldn't be your skin color.
What?
That's what your worship is. That's where your priority is.
We're not even talking about worship, but we see you're trying to like make it like
do you realize this? What you're saying right now is exactly why racism exists.
Hey,
why Israel is
Sneako.
racially.
I think you live in a theocracy, brother. You do not live in a theocracy. You saying it should be God. Like, listen. No one's here to disrespect God, and everybody knows most people have some level of spirituality or respect for religion. But you're trying to now impose that to say, oh, everybody should just be worshiping God. Okay, that's a given. We're talking about when it comes to social issues, when it comes to economic issues, what do people care about? Listen, if I live in New Jersey.
Now you're mischaracterizing.
Yeah, I live in New Jersey, right? I live in a particular county. I want when the state is giving out funds, for them to give all the funding or most of it to my community because I live there. It's just self-survival, brother. It's survival of the fittest. It's Darwinism.
Okay, you're kind of circling. Do you realize that you saying that you put your race above your faith, that's exactly where racism exists. Israel is a Jewish supremacist state. They think that others are subhuman, they're goy. That's why they justify what they do. White supremacists exist because they prioritize their skin color above their faith. What happens then is they see the priority based on people that look like them rather than what's right. What's right comes from God. It doesn't come from your skin color. You don't worship whiteness. You should do what's right, and you should worship God. They have the same ideology that you just stated. White supremacists,
wait.
Jewish supremacists.
What part of what I said made it sound like I worship skin color? If I say that,
it's your number one priority. You said it's your number one priority.
That doesn't mean I worship it.
It is. Part of worship is where you focus the majority of your energy. If you focus the majority of your energy to a celebrity, you worship him. You worship, that's the number one.
Okay, so you worship Israel then, because you talk about it every day.
How do I talk about it? Do I say that?
You talk about it every day. Remember, you say words that meaning you could repurpose things. All of this, like, great shit that you think you could do.
I talk about Israel because they commit.
So who do you worship then? Because you talk about that shit every day. It seems like you prioritize.
Because I talk about it because I worship God, and Allah says to stand with the oppressed. If they're oppressing people, then my voice. Let me finish my point. My voice is best used speaking about the oppression that's happening, not supporting them and propping them up, speaking against what's wrong and trying to promote what's right. That's why I speak about Israel so much, because they're committing negative acts.
Well, why don't you speak about oppression that's been happening in Haiti? Why don't you speak about,
I do. I made videos about it. I went there and I...
Brother, you've been talking about... Brother, you're like an Israeli commentator. Like an Israeli...
You know
your post-riser, dog.
Upset at me because I defended Haiti. When Haiti was called the shithole by Trump, I said Haiti's a beautiful country. You don't know about the people. You don't know about the oppression. You don't know about the French banks. You don't know what happened after...
You talked about it one time, but you don't know a bunch of people that are talking about Israel like it's going out of style.
I guess you didn't see that, but they all went out my neck. Matt Walsh started calling me a communist. They called me the hard R. Matt Walsh said I'm an invader. I'm an immigrant. We don't like Haiti. It's a shithole. I said you don't know anything about Haiti.
Let's go.
It's this way. Just because you didn't see it.
What a shot though.
Okay, so in terms of whose plight you prioritize. Because you just asked me what I prioritize. I told you.
I had a second most point.
Where I'm at, I would prioritize racial and issues like that over religious issues, because there isn't a religious war that's being fought in my vicinity.
We're in one. Okay. We're in a religious war right now. U.S. Iran is a religious war.
I'm speaking from my perspective, sir. Where I am at.
You don't know.
Okay. Also, I've never been to Iran. Okay, I've never been there, buddy. All right, and
even in America, we're in a war.
And they're not dropping bombs over here. If they drop the bomb, maybe I would care. I don't care right now. Okay, so let's put that to the side. Let me ask you, in terms of genocides that's going on in the world, which genocide happening in any crevice of the world do you care about the most? Because I don't think you give everything the same fair commentary.
Okay, I talk about the genocide in Sudan.
No. I didn't ask about what you talked about. What I'm saying is that what do you prioritize? Because you have to prioritize with how much you give energy to and how much you talk about. Which ones do you prioritize?
Which genocide do I prioritize?
In lending your platform to give.
I'm trying to get some no drip.
Do you spend
the most is definitely the most ongoing, well-documented genocide happening in front of our eyes right now is happening in Palestine.
Why not the genocides happening in Africa? Why not kind of lend a little bit more light to that? We would love to hear what's going on there.
Because this has the most importance. This is the most important issue.
Oh, so there's more. There's most important.
Okay, I knew you were going to do that. I knew you were going to do that.
All right, brother.
It's most important. You want to know why? Let me explain. Because let's think bigger. America's the world's superpower. We control the world. The world uses our currency.
Where's the NBA store?
$100 used around the world. If you don't follow our system, we bomb you. Regime change. The U.S. is funding this genocide. They're using our propaganda to justify it. This is the biggest global issue.
I like
clearly. This is the worst atrocity. This is happening on a major scale. And if I can lend my platform to fight against the biggest propaganda machine, I will. I try to get my priorities in check the best way I can.
Okay, and I think I got something to trump you on that, all pun intended. So just like how you could rank in what you're given the, not necessarily most important, but the I guess it would be most important, genocide that deserves attention to Palestine over stuff that's happening in Africa. Well, I ain't been to both of them. I live in America. I want to look at social issues going on here, places that I know I could, I might drive, hit two corners, end up in Philly. They got hella switches. I want to figure out what's going on here before I care about a foreign land I've never been to. I don't care if it's sacred, holy, or not.
I understand your perspective. And if you want to be small-minded, like that, then what is the greatest issue facing black people in America today?
I think that's an ongoing thing. You know, I'm not into black victimhood. However, you know, going back to the origin of this conversation is a Chud the Builder thing. I think we've been healing in racial relationships. From time to time, there's things that come up that really set it off where we're now arguing. For example, I forgot the lady's name, God rest her soul, when the cop shot her in her house after he accused her of about to throw hot water on him after she was saying, "I rebuke you." That was something about, hey, listen, we're two different races. We don't understand each other. It kind of caused some racial tension. I forgot the young lady who died when the cop executed a search warrant middle of the night, shot all into the house and killed someone. Like, these are things where I've seen clear division where if, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of Black Lives Matter, but I do remember that social turmoil, right, where people are looting, rioting, burning stuff up. And all of that is actually caused by these either bad actors that don't get punished, agitators, and when I see even the symptom of the illness, I try to look for the cure or apply the cure or the antidote. Let's not wait until people are rioting in the streets. Chud the Builder was going to have Nashville, actually the whole state of Tennessee, on fire by the grace of God. And thanks to DJ Akademiks and the chat niggas, we tricked that fuck nigga off the streets. And right now,
you gotta give the do you even know his name? The guy that got shot.
Brother.
You don't know his name,
brother.
Well, you're taking credit. You were
brother,
telling the guy to get martyred.
Brother.
What's his name?
Brother.
It wasn't you. It was that guy.
No. By the grace.
What's his name?
Listen,
What's
by the
his name, Mac?
I don't know his name. By the grace of God. Yo, my dude.
So you
hold on.
This guy is that guy's
hold on. That guy.
His name matter, but not in this point that Ag is making.
Hold on. I'm not.
He's not a hero. Are you a hero?
I'm not necessarily calling him a hero. What I'm actually saying is that the agitator has been neutralized. And in any way, hold on. No,
sir is a hero.
Sir. He's been neutralized by the law because he was never following the law. He was someone who thought he was bigger than the program. He had racist thoughts that thinking he could treat black people and execute them on a public street in front of a courthouse. And the law has told him now, hey, white or black, you're still going to get your ass thrown in jail like a low-level thug. So we sit here and we're not going to mourn the fact that this guy threw his life away. Of course, we're sad that there's a victim in this case. We would have hoped that he would. Hold on. Well, he's going to be a martyr just because, unfortunately, he was the victim. However, the main point is this: by hook or by crook, by the law or by the gun, by the knife or by anything, that nigga had to go. And the best place for him to be right now is to self-reflect while he's sitting in a 4x4 cell and realizing that he can't antagonize the 4 fucking walls he's looking at all fucking day.
You kind of proved my point. I'm saying we shouldn't give our attention away to paid agitators and clear division, and this is a waste of time. You were saying that somebody should martyr themselves and go and get this guy, and you don't even know his name. You know Chud the Builder's name. And I'm saying you shouldn't give your energy away to clear racists, to clear people that are spreading hate. That it's not good.
The agitators have to be removed. The agitators have to be removed. Listen, I get what you're trying to say.
Is a hero, and you don't even know his name.
Yeah, brother.
You see how we waste, and this is why I was saying people shouldn't give attention to this.
No, you're trying to make this thing.
Themselves. You're saying that he's a hero, and you don't even know who he is.
That's I never said he was a hero.
Life away for
I never said he was a hero.
Cause.
I never said he was a hero.
You said a martyr is a hero.
Not necessarily.
Yes.
No. Not necessarily.
Okay.
A martyr. Listen.
What's
someone that could be seen as a martyr for any cause. He's just the person who's seen as possibly made a sacrifice for that cause. Not necessarily he is the hero for the cause. I know you're Googling it right now.
Somebody dying for a specific. I don't know what you think.
He's not dead. Also, hey, listen. You're trying to deflect to the victim. Here's the point. Here's the point we're trying to say.
Sneako. You said martyr.
All right, Sneako. Victim aside.
Heroes are martyrs, then shut.
You're trying to earn these micropoints. You're too.
It's not a micropoint.
This is the headline right here. This is a headline right here. Sneako hits a 3-pointer, but he's still down 22. It's okay, but
I'm not trying to win. I'm not trying to win against
Sneako. Let me ask you a question.
It's not about
victim aside. I think you now agree with me that based on this guy's behavior chimping out, being in the free world is just not. It probably wasn't the best place for him to be. And gladfully, he's not dead. So he's in a great place. He gets to sit in jail. Maybe I was on Pump Fund earlier. I was trying to tune in. I was trying to buy the nigga coin. I couldn't find a nigga coin. He wasn't going live no more. But
we're kind of going in circles. The reason we got to this point is
but you agree though.
What is the biggest? What's the biggest play? Yeah, I said it from the jump that I don't think he should be doing these streams. He shouldn't be on the streets doing this. I asked you, what is the biggest plight facing black people today? You said Chud the Builder and police violence. Is that correct?
You're trying to have me speak for the entire black race.
No, I'm asking because you said it's your number one priority.
No.
You said the plight of...
Okay. So you could ask me about me. I recuse myself from actually having the weight of speaking for all black people. Actually, let me be honest. You know why?
I didn't ask that. I'm asking you the same question you just asked me. You said when you talk about the most... I said when the atrocities happened, the genocide of Palestine. So I'm asking you...
And that's about you.
The greatest plights of black people... And you said the greatest plights of black people right now is Chud the Builder saying the N-word and police violence. Is that correct?
No. So you're asking my opinion, all right? And if you ask my opinion, I'd probably go to lack of economic opportunities, and I'd probably also go to still systemic oppression, right?
Okay. What are the examples of systemic oppression and lack of economic? Because what do we have done?
Well, I feel like we have decades of that being seen where, again, one of the things that I realized, I've always told people I expressed some regret in how I did the war in Chirac, because the way I blamed these young kids that grew up in a particular environment for some of their actions.
Probably need some new shoes.
These kids who didn't even really have the mental capacity. We're talking about PTSD. Imagine what they're going through. They've seen their uncle, their brother, their cousin all get killed by gun violence, and when they actually retaliate, the person that's sitting up just making fun of them, they grew up in this environment. It's basically Section 8 housing. So I'm answering your question.
That's why I could swing low. You called me a Muslim grifter. If I wanted to swing low, I would bring up the war in Chirac, but I'm not going to. It seems like you regret that.
No. Well, there is no swinging low for that, right? Because this is a grown-ass man. This is a grown-ass man.
That's my point. I'm just comparing.
So that's kind of how I look at it. I feel like, while I might be fortunate, and yes, to a certain extent, I don't believe in victimhood, oh no, woe is me, because I'm someone who came from another country, third world country, and I happen to do good for myself. I'm not saying that everybody has that opportunity, but I will say that for us to ignore or use me as an example and say, well, Ak made it, and he came from another country, he lived in the countryside there, and he's rich now, why can't y'all do it? That would be completely ignorant to not factor in the not only decades, the centuries of oppression that has gone into
economic, right? And what's holding them back? You're saying what's holding black people back? Well, me too. Economic, even though there's DEI, even though there's legislation in schools where it's easier for people from the inner cities to get in, and the other one you said
on average, a two-parent I forgot the actual stat. On average, when it comes to household earnings by black families compared to any other race, even Hispanics and definitely Asians and Indians, black people aren't on the same level or even like competing.
Okay,
So there's a disparity. There's a disparity that
is the economy. Economic opportunity is the number one plight.
Are you trying to like go politics with me? I'm giving you two things.
No,
now you want to talk about all type of shit now?
I want to see what you believe in. What's your worldview, Ak? Okay, now I figured out that you're black first, Christian second. Next, I'm trying to figure out what's your priority. You scrutinized me for mine. I detailed exactly why I believe and why I say what I say. So I'm asking you the same thing you just asked me.
Go ahead.
You said the biggest plight to black people is socioeconomic opportunities. And you're saying the reason, your example is single-parent households not make it the same. Is that correct? I got to know what you believe in to have a conversation.
Well, yeah, the disparities between what households make, the communities that most of those families are concentrated. Yes, it makes sense for a lot of the other topics we could talk about. Like, for example, why is it more crime? Why is it this? Well, if we look at these other factors, it's going to be a multifaceted thing. Now, here's the thing. I might not live in those conditions, but I commune with people who might be in those conditions, right? And that all does matter. Say again.
Right. So what I think the greatest issue is, so this is why this has happened, why crime is rampant, why you have these socioeconomic disparities, is not because of systemic racism. That's all gone now. It doesn't exist the same way. Believing this is just victim mentality. The real reason is hip-hop culture, is what we define as black culture right now. Black culture can be defined a lot of times, and especially what's being promoted in hip-hop, is gang violence, is baby mama culture. Sexy Red becomes extremely popular. She's talking about popping perks and Plan Bs and sleeping around and cheating with her baby daddy.
Whoa.
Gang violence is the number one thing promoted in hip-hop. Hip-hop is seen as the culture. We just saw the Drake-Kendrick beef. Oh, you can't talk about the culture. Well, how do you define the culture? Hip-hop is synonymous with black culture. And is what hip-hop promoting good? Absolutely not. It's negative. It's deteriorating.
How old are you, Sneako?
27.
Okay. The only reason I ask is because you are repeating points that the 22-year-old version of me stopped in my train of thought there, right? Like, the 22-year-old version, go back on YouTube, you will see everything I'm saying is documented, where there would be a little bit of blaming hip-hop or, oh, it's because of gangs, but the older you get and the more knowledge you have, as you love to peel the layers back on what's going on overseas, you should have definitely be peeling the layers back by what's going on around you. Why are there gangs? Why was hip-hop the thing to come out of these neighborhoods? If you stop at these things, well, I mean, that's a part of it, but if you're looking at, okay, violence or whatever, or hip-hop, all right, let's just say hip-hop, and these bad examples are coming out of these places.
What y'all think, man? Act cooking or what, people? Is it cooking or what?
These places, right? If you kind of peel the layers back, you kind of start seeing a lot more stuff that kind of contribute to it. I'm going to use another analogy. The analogy is kind of like, one of my favorite foods, oxtail. Like, you know how that came about? Shit. Fucking slave masters, that was the part of the fucking cow they rejected. And now it's the thing that everybody made good. So
let's figure it out.
So black people historically, when they have been put in positions of oppression, they've actually turned shit to diamond. And obviously, over time, usually you hope it gets better, but all of these things were born.
You get some incredible artists from the past century where it came from slavery, like the songs about pain and these drums, it is derivative from slavery. But now, is this really something? This is deflecting blame.
No. But
it's all about
you can't ignore
CIA infiltration.
You can't ignore this. If you go back to the history of music, where people who are interested in music, they couldn't get in some of these jazz halls to go maybe indulge in that type of music, right? Or rock and roll, there was actually a really, the easiest way for them to get into music was having a boombox at the park. All of these things do matter.
Now, this stuff's people don't listen to jazz anymore. It's done.
Okay, my brother.
I don't think but again,
my same point. But again, that's what I'm saying. You have a mentality of a 22-year-old because you don't understand historical context. No. The older you get,
I just said I do. I just told you that.
You have to understand history. It's like me saying.
I just said I do. Did I say anything wrong? I know exactly how this started. I know where hip hop came from. I'm talking about today, though. What is being promoted today?
Yeah, but everything comes from what history and things add on or get subtracted, but there's always a root there. It's like saying, why did the United States of America become its own thing? Yeah, remember the Boston Tea Party? All of that matters. Hey, no tax. Everything matters for us to get here. Everything. Right? And you can't just like...
And I know the history, so you're saying you're trying to make me sound infantile, but I'm talking about right now, and this is the problem with the victim concept.
Because how long does it take to change history? Let me ask you a question. How long do you think it takes to change any type of...
Change history? I mean, change history, like...
Or behavior that is either traditional... I'll speak your language, because it's kind of interesting you motherfuckers live over the United States, and y'all are up Israel and Iran's fucking dick.
What do you mean? I was born here. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Y'all are over here, but all y'all seem to give a fuck about is Israel, Palestine, and motherfucking Iran.
No. You know what's funny? You keep deflecting. You know, the same people that support Israel also support the music industry.
Yep.
Lucien Grange is also a Zionist. The people in charge of you, I saw you make the comparison. You said Jay-Z's like Israel. All these hip-hop executives support the same country that you think is so far away.
Here's the point.
Dual allegiance.
Here's the point. I'm trying to make an analogy to you using the United States, but it's very clear to me. I probably have to use like an Iran analogy for you to motherfucking like understand the point I'm making. So I'll use one. We've seen when Iran has gone from whether it's the Shah or their supreme leader, and we've seen power changes within the history of Iran, right? How long did it take, acknowledging history, for the people to either break that mindset, to adjust to whatever was going on, or rebel? You constantly see that historically it always affected what was going on. That's my point. Go ahead.
Right. Perfect example is Japan. 1945, Hiroshima, Nagasaki nuked. First nuke that ever hit the world. Cities leveled. Destruction. Children are having health problems. Major issues. Really hard to recover off of a nuke, right? Does anybody really even talk about Hiroshima and Nagasaki today? It was much more recent than slavery. Less than 100 years ago. Japan recovered.
Yo, brother, you gotta stop comparing stuff to slavery, my dude. Like, yo, black people built this goddamn country. I'm gonna keep it a beat. Like, there ain't no Japanese nigga build this shit. Man, get out of here, bro.
You keep acting like I'm doing non sequiturs. I'm literally answering your question directly. You said, how long does it take?
We're not gonna be talking about here. We're not gonna be talking about that. All right, hold on. I'll answer that question. We're not talking about that compared to slavery, because slavery is... You cannot separate that from the history of America, because slaves built America. Okay? If a bunch of Japanese niggas and a Kong Pao ass built America, we be talking about that all the time. So you gotta stop. You gotta stop with this. Like, I don't know if you look at slavery as some shit that just kind of happened, brother. This is... See?
I'm answering your point. You said, how long does it take to change history? These people were affected greatly. First nuke that hit the world, they recovered. First world nation, they don't speak about it. They don't define being Japanese based off of this nuke, based off of this trauma. They've moved on and they developed a great
nation. How you know? So in Japanese culture...
Japan's economy is doing really well.
So you're saying in the things that they care about, that is just... Oh yeah, so what? They killed so many of us and disfigured us and gave us all type of like disfiguring diseases and whatever, because of the nuclear bomb. But it's all good. We have gotten over. That's what you're saying? That Japanese people feel?
I'm saying Japanese culture is...
So if I go to Nagasaki, you're saying that there's no traces of them. They're like, what bomb?
Of course there's like, this is such a silly argument. Of course there's traces of it. Of course it happened. Of course it's spoken about. But Japanese culture is not defined off of this.
We don't know what the fuck their culture is.
Yes, I do. I've been there. I lived in Japan for a month.
Hold on. Their culture, okay, you're a tourist, but still, their culture and what they care about, right, in terms of like either politics or whatever.
At cooking or what, chat?
We don't give a fuck about.
Appreciate you guys, man. If you guys don't think about subscribing.
Could you go to Germany and go do all
G ready? Let's go.
The Hail Hitler thing. Could you do that? Yes,
it's a long debate between Sneako and Akademiks, man.
Hey, don't forget. And that's why when it comes to America, you, I, anybody else need to shut our bitch asses up and respect the fact that when it comes to slavery, that's one of the most sacred and most horrific things this country's ever done.
Slavery is not sacred. Slavery is not sacred. Slavery, again, that's why I figured out what you worship. Like, no, slavery is not holy.
No. We're not talking about sacred like we're exalting it. We're saying that it's one of the most sensitive things ever. Mm-hmm. It's probably top 2, not 2. Facts.
Okay, great. So how do we move on from this? I was talking about...
There is no moving on. Yo, as long as America exists...
I can't even... If you want to have a conversation, you keep talking over me. So, like, I'm trying to get somewhere.
Get yours off, I got
you. You said black culture, the number one plight black people are facing is socioeconomic problems, right? Then you said it's because of years and history of oppression. I'm arguing that right now, what's being promoted from hip-hop and the culture, a lot of it is negative. Then you said, okay, well, there's a history, right? Just like slavery, there's a history of CIA, there could be infiltration, maybe Zionist executives took over and they're pushing specific agendas.
I never said that.
But if this is what I'm saying, and it's the same people supporting the genocide you don't care about. This is holding black people back in America. Saying this culture is what defines the black identity is a problem. Because what is promoted in hip-hop is objectively not good. The majority of these people are Satanists, they're all drug addicts, they're perked out, they brag about sleeping with each other, stealing, I F this guy's bitch, murder, 63rd, it's street culture, respect culture, I'm gonna slide on, if you can't snitch or I'm gonna kill you, snitches get stitches. This is promoting criminal activity and is holding black people back. And not talking about it is not fixing the problem. This needs to be spoken of, and then who is pushing these ideas? You brought it up. It's the same executives that have allegiance to the genocide or supporting the genocide that you don't care about. People like Lucien Grange, people that are in charge of Rockefeller, all these people, they're the same ones supporting that genocide and getting Americans to support that genocide. Why do you think that they push that culture within America? To subvert, to divide, to keep us hateful, to keep us distracted, to keep us focused on minuscule issues so we don't see what's really going on. So we hate the person on 64th and I'm from 63rd when really this is project housing and we rent here. We don't even own this block and we're going to die over it. This is silly and this is regressive. We need to move on.
Well, of course, if you try to do I don't even think Dr. Umar speaks like that. If you try to do some type of, just Gandhi speech.
Do you disagree? You're insulting.
Oh, okay. All right, so I'll just get to the point. Not necessarily. I'm not saying I necessarily disagree. But what I would actually counter is that this is pushed throughout society in some way or another. I think the President of the United States damn near almost is promoting almost gambling, right? Gambling is ubiquitous at this point. These are things that these things aren't that positive, and I get it. You might like it's easy to pinpoint hip hop, but let's not act like there's just beacons of positivity and great things being promoted from everywhere else in the culture but hip-hop, right? Of course, some of these things might exacerbate a problem that exists already. However, my thing is we got to do a double-headed approach. We should do things to kind of curb that behavior now, but also you can't just keep putting band-aids on a problem that has existed and has continued over generations. That's pretty much has started from the existence of America.
I'm not saying it bad. Right? You brought up Malcolm X. I agree. By any means necessary.
And that's what happened with Chud. By any means necessary. We got him out of here.
And that's
Malcolm X will be proud.
You don't even know the guy's name who got martyred. So again.
Brother, stop talking about the victim. We glad that the agitator's out of here.
Yeah, sure. That's a perfect example of focusing on something stupid and minuscule.
And to keep it real, I think Chud got off easy. We were trying to get him to go to.
Wait. We're getting somewhere, and then you go back to.
No, we were trying to get his ass to Nashville. No, not Nashville.
You're reverting because this conversation is getting somewhere uncomfortable, and then you're going back to something easy and stupid. This guy was a racist and he's hateful, and it's not the major issue.
Chud.
Okay, we got him. All right, we tricked him off the streets. Next, go ahead.
Okay, it's what is defined off of, and saying it's not our fault. That prevents you from growth. By having a boogeyman and saying, okay, this is why criminal activity is being promoted in hip-hop. This is why there's so many single-parent households. This is why people don't think that they need to get a job and why basketball...
Sneako, we could talk about those issues, just don't conflate them, right? So we could talk about the issues you're trying to bring up, just don't conflate them with some guy and you using the stupid-ass rhetoric saying, no, it's not.
It's the same issue.
So a guy saying the N-word is connected to single
man,
parents.
this debate is on and going, man.
I want to know why? Because the bigger issue...
You think a guy that's calling people chimps and the N-word is connected to the single-parent epidemic?
Yes. The bigger issue is racism. That's the bigger issue. Not this one single guy and the martyr whose name you forgot. It's racism. Racism is what's wrong. That should be the number one focus. If we're trying to figure out what's going on and how we can change things, If racism at the top, and this is why Chud the Builder is bad, and we agree on that, how do we fix this problem? Where should our energy be focused on? Why are people distracted? These are the questions we need to ask.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's going to take decades and centuries of healing for...
Let's start now.
Well, it's been happening. That's what I'm telling you. I've acknowledged progress. That's why... Hold on. That's everything I've said. Nothing has been anti-white. I feel like we've made significant progress since some of these riots that existed in America. We've made significant progress. And matter of fact, I was mostly proud of when he was doing all this nonsense. There was white dudes that were calling him out like, bro, why are you doing this? You know why? Because that white dude knows that if I see him, he sees me. He has nothing against me. I have nothing against him. We're probably going to be friends. But he doesn't want me to have something in the back of my mind saying, hey, this guy's against me. And he shouldn't be thinking, oh, I'm scared or I'm afraid of my life. That guy was a divisive antagonist. And that's why I said, get him out the paint. But I do think we've taken significant strides. Significant strides.
Past 10 years we haven't. BLM was a scam. This money was not going in places that it should have been going to.
This has been the only...
So much...
This has been the
George
only...
Floyd was a major distraction. People rioting and burning down buildings over George Floyd was silly.
What year was that?
This was 2020. And BLM really started after Trayvon Martin 2013. It was at its height in probably 2016. So for the past, I would say, maybe 20 years.
And you've seen no healing. You've seen no healing in the last couple years.
Healing is a small... What we should look for is progress. There hasn't been progress.
What's progress looking like to you?
It's been regressive.
What's progress to you?
What is defining black culture? Defining black culture is almost synonymous with the hip hop culture, and we both agree. You even said earlier that a lot of it's negative.
But by the way, that's not true. That's not all of black culture is hip hop culture. But
I didn't say all.
There's a huge overlap. I'll give you that.
Mm-hmm. So if we want to make progress, we got to figure out.
By the way,
so what is he?
You also realize that you're imposing your thoughts on this guy. This guy never said nothing that you're saying. You're now arguing points he never made. This guy's not going around saying, I don't like hip-hop. I don't like what it's done to how you guys are being represented in the media. This guy just went around saying you're chimping out and calling people the hard you are. You're now trying to make some type of like debatable argument because the first argument you made on the last stream was so stupid. It just got like I think
it's the same argument.
No, because he doesn't. Because they're making an argument for why that happened that is not even being discussed, and he's never said it. You can't find tweets of him saying this.
Because you talked over me. My argument is that we should not focus on divisive, non-important issues like this. This is a distraction and not the major issue. People will galvanize and be like, "This is the racist." Our energy could be directed towards places where it's better needed. Why has there been no progress towards uplifting black people and empowering black people and fixing the problem, the generational problem? That's where we should be focusing our energy. Not, this guy needs to die, we need to martyr this guy. Like, why are we all fixating on this when there's much more important issues to be focused on within the black community? And that was my argument then, and it's my argument right now. And you didn't get it. The point is to not get distracted by this stuff.
And the answer is this. The answer is that, yes, there needs to be improvement. There needs to be growth. I say that I have seen some growth. It could definitely be more. I think, I'm going to say us, not including you, because we don't know what you are. You're just ambiguous. We're just going to call you something.
You know what I'm
But we have a lot of improvement to do. But here's what I'll say. An agitator, someone who's here to subvert the actual goal of being together and understanding each other and race relations, could never be the catalyst. So you're right. Things aren't perfect. But I'd be damned if the guy who came to fuck shit up even more gets the credit because now we're celebrating that he's out the way. No. He's a fuckhead that deserved to be out the way. However, if we're talking about race relations, if we're talking about black people as a whole, accountability for certain things,
we're talking
about communities here. There's a lot of work to be done. Right? But that has nothing to do with an agitator. An agitator is not a catalyst. And that's what I would say.
And my point is we shouldn't martyr ourselves over somebody who wants attention. If you want to be a martyr, martyr yourselves for a bigger cause.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, and I feel like you've said this a couple times. I don't know if you're saying it because you want me to backtrack in rhetoric. No, I'm going to double down by saying
my point is.
If we get these type of figures popping up, I think it's more important now than ever that we quickly get them out the way. some way, somehow. You know why? Because the noise that they bring only empowers these little hidden cells of racists who are now empowered to do some other shit. And I know you're saying, well, him getting arrested will empower them even more. You got to send a message. This is not tolerated. It's the reason why we have prisons. It's the reason why most Americans, and definitely me, I believe in the death penalty. We're not about to sit back while you try to think that the Constitution works for you and not somebody else. Oh, you think you're the only one that has gun rights? No, everybody does. We'll meet your energy. What do you think this is, like back in slavery days? No. So again, the rhetoric that I'm going to keep saying is that these guys who think that they're talking from a place of like supremacy, I'm not going to call them a white supremacist. You know, I have a different definition that would have to classify somebody as that whip. But if you're going to talk from a place of racism, we can meet you with whatever either force you think you got, level of conversation, disagreement, or even protesting, whatever you think you're doing. So if you're doing,
well, you're a black supremacist.
I don't know
Sure.
if that's what you think, sure. I'm not here denying that.
It's your number one priority, and that's you can't fight racism with racism.
Well, here's the thing. I would disagree with you saying I'm a black supremacist, and this is why I said I didn't label Chud a white supremacist, because all I know him as listen, my definition. I know him as a racist. I've never, even though his racial slurs and everything gives the argument of, oh, I think we're better than you. I've never heard him say legitimately, hey, white race is better than the black race. And I think that's the most that's the basic.
You can't be racist. You can't be racist in favor of one. You're only a racist because you're superior to another. So he's a white supremacist.
Not necessarily.
You're a black supremacist.
No, not necessarily. Bro. You could be racist. Listen, someone who's homophobic doesn't mean that they think they're better than homosexuals.
It 100% does.
Oh no!
They just don't like those people. It doesn't mean they think they're better.
You don't like something that's bad, so you think that your way of life is better than the gay life. 100% you think that you're better than gay people. You think that you're going to go to heaven and they're going to go to hell.
I'm telling you that when I'm defining racism, homophobia, or if I'm defining anti-Semitism, I don't think people who would be labeled anti-Semitic feel like they're better than the Semites, I guess. I don't think so. I think that it's just a irrational dislike.
But it's about what you really believe. Like, look, I'm labeled an anti-Semite.
Okay, so you think you're better than Jewish people?
I just said I was labeled. That doesn't mean I am. I don't believe racial supremacy is the root of all evil. This is what's wrong in the world. Racism is the problem. It's wrong. But you can't be a racist without thinking one is superior to another. That's why you discriminate, because one has preferential treatment over the other. Because one is.
We're definitely arguing semantics here.
We're not. We're not.
Well, we are. We're arguing. We're arguing a definition.
No, we're not. You said you don't think somebody can be racist without being a supremacist. I disagree.
I gave 3 other examples. I said that if any of these superlative terms, for example, anti-Semitic, homophobic, if you are either one of those terms, I don't think that the mentality tied to the term is I'm better than. To me, what's tied to the term is I have a irrational hate or a dislike for people who are that. So racism, I would believe you're a racist if...
Which is supremacy.
Well, I would say no, because I don't believe that supremacy usually comes with... You know, I'll back down on that point. No. Not because I agree. It's just that... I'm going to explain the same thing to you, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get... Rather than like argue about a point that's going to just fuck this all up, I think racism and supremacy is not the same thing. It is. I know people who are racist just because they don't like black people or they don't like a particular race of people.
Which means they think they're better. If you don't like a specific race, you think you're better than that race.
No, they just think they're different. From the people I know,
different. No, but worse. Different is not worse.
Well, if we're going by your logic, even if people don't hate each other, they're supremacists, right? So if an Asian,
no.
All right, well you said I'm a black supremacist, so I don't hate anyone. So how am I a supremacist if I have no hate?
Because you put your priorities between...
Everybody prioritize themselves.
Right. And
do you believe in America first? Do you believe in America first?
Politically, but my number one priority on this earth, I put God first.
Okay,
I don't put anything above God. That's why I say you're a black supremacist. You outline your number one priority. You put blackness above God.
Hold on. Okay. I'm glad you just said that. I'm gonna also correct you. If I had to, now if we're thinking on a worldview, I put the United States above black because I'm a United States citizen first. Within the United States, within the United States, then I'm get to black. So what I'm saying is, we all prioritize, right? Do you put America before Palestine? You should.
I just answered your question.
Okay, so that's the point. So are you some type of supremacist for the United States? No. So again, the term you tried to use was saying that I'm a black supremacist. That doesn't make sense. No.
Geopolitics is separate. Look, everyone's going to prefer the place that they were born in. It affects them directly. Like, this is the problem. Also, America first and freeing Palestine, they go hand in hand.
So explain how I'm a black supremacist.
Because I asked you, what do you put first? You said you put black above Christian. You put your skin color over your religion.
Well, hold on. Why the hell is black competing with religion? It's to establish that point. Sneako, I'm gonna teach you something about debate. To establish that, you should say, do you put black people above white people? That's what you should say if you're trying to establish that point. You said
because you're gonna.
So if I put anything,
I'm breaking down your belief system without you really realizing what's going on.
So how does
put blackness first? If you put blackness first, then even people who are criminal, even people that are wrong, even people that are bad, that comes before your white Christian brothers.
Do you know what a whatever supremacist means?
Somebody who thinks that they are favored, that they are the best.
And how did you come to that point with what I said?
Because it's your number one priority above your religion.
And that told you. So we're going off your words here. I'm not even tripping you up. You said someone who favors someone over other people. How did I say that?
Right. What you think is your people has nothing to do with faith, has nothing to do with what God said. Because God.
How are you bringing God into this? We're talking about white supremacy, brother, or black supremacy.
I'm explaining because you got this from blackness and from the worship of your skin color. If you listen to the words of Jesus, did he ever say,
Sneako, no. This is why I see why you're running around saying words don't matter.
I'm not running around.
You say some words, and I repeat the words you're saying, and you bring something up. You said a supremacist is someone who feels they're better than other people. I said, okay, in my priorities where I say black people are my priority, did I ever say black people are better than other people? You mentioned God. You want to try it again?
So you came up with that yourself.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a simple question again. How am I a black supremacist?
Because you don't see others that are the same faith as you, as your brothers. You don't see them as equal. You came up with this on your own from something that was conditioned for being around your people.
Okay. I'm asking you this. Okay.
Right.
Do you have a quote, and I know your chat's probably active, just like mine. Where did I say I was not equal to someone? You asked me about my priorities. Doesn't mean how I feel about people in general. You said, I don't feel other people are equal.
Where you put your energy is what you think is the most important. The most importance is where you direct the majority of your energy. Okay. So even if you're not completely aware of it, this is what it is.
Okay. So once again, we're talking about priorities. It doesn't mean I'm talking about what's equal or what's greater in terms of importance in, which people are more important in the world. Do you kind of understand that, brother? Like,
but it's your...
If I prioritize going to the bank today, it doesn't mean that going to the bank versus my mother, but you kind of, like, I'm going to have to do...
It's your complete philosophy. If this is of your most importance, if this is what you think deserves the most energy and attention, that's at the top. That's supreme.
Yo, Sneak, I'm gonna give you some advice.
Number one.
When you're catching a lashing, you got to learn how to concede points. That's why you lose so bad.
What point did you get me on?
The point of
number one priority. That's actually I just found out.
The point of you giving a definition. The point of you giving a definition. Me asking you to fit the definition of me. You just randomly bring up God. You claim that I'm a black supremacist because in your idea of a supremacist is someone who thinks they're better than someone else. What topic were?
Because it's
Brother, you asked me.
It's at the top of your list.
You asked me.
Supreme is at the top. Supreme is number one.
No, see, you're failing. You know you're. You asked me.
No, I'm not. That's the perfect definition.
Sneako.
Supreme is of most importance.
Yo, I got
Supreme.
That boy Sneako and Act, man.
to see if anyone gets what I'm saying.
They've been going back and forth for a minute now, man.
Do I care about?
So Act gonna switch the topic.
And I said, well, in my
Drake album dropping today, y'all. Iceman.
I care about people that look like me, and race is more important than
midnight tomorrow. Midnight, the 15th. Midnight.
You took that. Wait, hold on. You took that and you jumped to another point. You said, well, that means you're a black supremacist. And I said, could you tell me what
I'm saying you don't realize it. I'm saying you're a black supremacist without realizing it. That's why I asked you in the beginning of this conversation if you're Christian. Because nowhere, and you think I'm bringing God out of nowhere, but your religion is what's of most importance. It should be. This is where you find morality from.
Hold on, but even if you try to use religion there is no point that I actually say I feel I am better than any group of people. You could probably say on a faith level. Wait, hold on.
You don't have
on a
to say
faith
that.
level,
Unknowingly be a
brother. On a faith level, you could say, well, you know, you're not a good Christian because you care more about this currently more than religion or your God. That would be a valid point because I said the things I value the most important where I'm at. I've never said if I'm valuing people that I believe black people are better than or worse than Asian people, Indian people, white people.
You don't have to. I'm saying.
So I didn't have to say because Sneako was going to make it up for me.
So many people. No, I'm not making it. So many people do this without realizing it. You don't have to outright say that others are worse than you, but unknowingly, because you put most of your attention, because it's of the most importance to you, that's the supreme thing.
Sneako,
that is number
you're
one.
Making such a
faith.
You're making such a stupid point. That's like me saying,
do you know what supreme? Supreme is at the top.
Hold on,
if you're giving it the most amount of your attention, that means it's of the most importance. That means you think it's the most important cause. That's what deserves. That's the best thing you could be focusing on.
Maybe you should speak for yourself in how you do things, because since you commune with Muslim people, does that mean that? Since that
it's the same ideology.
Hold on. All right, so you think Muslim people are more important than Christians or Buddhists, right?
More important, not more important, no. But I see them as my people. I see them as my people. My most important cause. The difference.
So with me, you're putting this level of importance. But when I compare what you prioritize and say, well, if you're prioritizing this, it must gotta be more important. You're like, oh, no.
I'm saying I put God above all. It has nothing to do with race. You said the opposite. You said you put race above God.
Let's Sneako.
What?
Yo, it's Sneako ever wanted to debate, bro?
Define supreme real quick. I don't think you seem to understand what that means.
Sneako, you say I'm a racial supremacist, right? Except except you compared my prioritization in my life to God. What race is God? Let me ask you a question. Hold on. What race is God?
What doesn't have a race?
What race is Allah? Whatever it is. What race is?
Allah means God. You know this?
Okay, well, I don't know. Maybe you might think it's different.
Allah is God. God, that's just a
wait. There are some people who think there is a distinction between the gods. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of Christians that don't call.
You asked what I believe. God means Allah. Well, you know what Jesus spoke Aramaic. You know what he called God? Jesus spoke Aramaic. No. Jesus spoke Aramaic. He called God. He didn't say God. He said Allah.
Yeah.
You know this, right?
Okay. What race is Muhammad, the prophet? What race is he?
Muhammad, peace be upon him, was Arab.
Word? Sure, it wasn't Mexican?
Yes.
Okay, so all right. So when you're ranking your favorite, races and stuff like that, since he's like was it Arab or whatever, where do you see how stupid this is?
But yeah, people, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, man. Yes, this is a series that we're going to be doing, just reacting to popular streamers, popular topics that's going on.
You want me to explain?
And if you guys are new, man, think about subscribing. I will see you guys later. G ready. Until next time, people. I am out.